Florida State takes on the Florida Gators, 1 o'clock Eastern tip-off. The Florida Gators are -1, totals 145. We went 4-2 in our 6 premium sports picks on BrockPage.com yesterday. And if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at BrockPage.com. We're also, what are we? We're 10-5 in our last 15 NFL tier package picks on that very same website. And the good news is we have 3 more premium NFL tier package picks going off here today. We're also 3-0 in our last 3 board member tier package picks on that very same webpage. We currently have over 890 members who are signed up and active on that site. And once again, if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on this channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at BrockPage.com. And despite being the slight favorite in this one, well, this line's kind of bounced around, probably going to end as a pick'em. We've seen a lot of movement. But as of right now, the Florida Gators, they're the slight favorite in this one, but they have failed to cover. They did fail to cover in their season opener against Elon. Florida's leading scorer in the contest, Colin Castleton, went just 4 of 10 from the foul line. The Gators were also held to just 27 points in the second half in the opener as well. They're taking on a Florida State team who put up 105 points against the Penn Quakers in their season opener themselves. The Noles shot nearly 50% from the field. They scored 54 second half points in that one. Malik Osborne had 18 points and 13 rebounds. Meanwhile, senior guard Anthony Polite had 17 points and 6 rebounds himself. The Seminoles comfortably covered the 18.5 point spread against the Quakers. Now, Florida State's 5-2 to the over in their last 7 on the road, of course, dating back to last season. Meanwhile, the Gators on the other side went 4-1 to the over in their last 5 against an ACC opponent. So if you're into historical trends, consider those trends. It can be Florida State +1 over 145. Next matchup, it is going to be Fairfield versus Boston College, 4 o'clock East. Boston College is -9.5, totals 133. The Eagles are on they're 2-0 straight up on the season, 2-0 against the number in those victories. Boston College held their opponents to 57 points or less in both of those contests as well. They're also holding their opponents to just 21% shooting from beyond the arc. Now, scoring-wise, DeMar Langford is averaging 18 points a game, 3 boards, couple assists for the sophomore. Langford's also a perfect 8 of 8 from the foul line. Meanwhile, Quentin Post is averaging 12 points a game himself, along with 4 rebounds. They're taking on a Fairfield team who gave up 80 points to Providence in their opening day loss. The Stags' leading scorer, Zach Chrysler, went just 2 of 4 from the stripe and had no blocks or steals defensively. Even worse, the Stags' second leading scorer, Taj Benning, he shot just 35% from the field. Now, total-wise, both schools saw their most recent outings get over the posted number. I'm going to lean toward Boston College, -9.5, over 133. Next matchup, it is going to be Minnesota versus Princeton, 7:30 Eastern start time. Minnesota's -2.5, totals 135. The 2-0 Golden Gophers successfully covered the point spread in their opening 2 victories. They're giving up just 62 points a game, and they're holding their opponents to just 27% shooting from beyond the arc. E.J. Stevens is averaging 2 steals a game and 5.5 rebounds. Meanwhile, offensively, Stevens is scoring 15.5 points a night, and he also made 5 of 9 from beyond the arc. Jamison Battle also is averaging 19 points a game along with 4.5 rebounds. They're taking on a Princeton team whose leading scorer is averaging only 11 points a night, and he's been put to the line only twice. Meanwhile, the Tigers' second leading scorer, actually there's a handful of them, but the Tigers' second leading scorers are averaging only 9 points a game, respectively. I'm going to lean toward Minnesota minus 2.5, under 135. Next matchup, Idaho State versus Seattle, 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off. The Seattle Redhawks are minus 3.5, totals 134. Seattle scoring just 65 points a game and shooting only 37% from the field. The Redhawks are 0-2 against the spread to start the season, and they're allowing 43 second-half points per contest. They're taking on an Idaho State team who's shown some pretty good strength defensively. The Bengals are allowing just 63 points a game, and they're holding their opponents to just 20% shooting from three-land. Now, scoring-wise, Tarek Cool is scoring 14.5 points a game, along with 4 rebounds, couple assists. Robert Ford III is also scoring over 13 points a game himself, along with 5 rebounds. Ford's also gone 6 of 6 from the foul line. I'm going to lean toward Idaho State plus 3.5, over 134. Next contest, Texas State versus Vanderbilt, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. The Vanderbilt Commodores are minus 7.5, totals 137. Vandy put up 91 points against Alabama State in their opener. Jordan Wright at 16 points and 4 rebounds. Wright also had 3 assists and a couple of steals. Meanwhile, Scottie Pippen Jr. had 15 points along with 4 steals himself. Defensively, Vanderbilt held their opponents to just 31% shooting from beyond the arc. They're taking on a Texas State team who gave up 87 points to LSU in their most recent outing. That was actually a 25-point loss to the LSU Tigers. Texas State is also allowing their opponents to make 41% of their three-pointers against them. Now, total-wise, the Bobcats are 2-0 to the over on the season. Vandy's officially 1-0 to the over themselves. I'm going to lean toward Vanderbilt minus 7.5, over 137. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and hop into our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where we are 10-5 in our last 15 NFL tier package picks. I like LIPSCOMB minus 5, over 145. Tennessee Volunteers minus 17, under 136. I like Yale plus 12.5, over 147. Give me Binghamton plus 7.5, under 144. I like Florida State plus 1, over 145. Give me Chattanooga minus 12, over 142.5. I'm also leaning toward Bucknell plus 1, over 154 and a hook. Oklahoma State minus 19, over 143. I'm also liking South Dakota plus 16, under 143. And in addition to that, I like South Dakota State minus 1.5, over 155. Give me Texas A&M minus 25, under 133. I also like the Wyoming Cowboys minus 23, under 143. Brown minus 15.5, under 145. Boston College minus 9.5, over 133. East Carolina minus 10, over 142.5. Canisius plus 21, under 139 and a hook. Delaware State plus 16, over 146.5. Syracuse minus 16, over 143. I'm also leaning toward George Mason minus 9.5, over 144 and a hook. Minnesota minus 2, under 135. Give me Idaho State plus 3.5, over 134. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 10-5 in our last 15 NFL tier package picks on brockpage.com. We're also 3-0 in our last 3 board member tier package picks on that very same website. I'm going to lean toward Vanderbilt minus 7.5, over 137. And with that, guys, now it's time for our shout out of the day. And that's going to go to Tamara Water, who said the other day, Brock, you are definitely invited to the barbecues all next summer. And I certainly appreciate that. For those who don't know what that means, you better ask somebody. And I'll tell you what, Tamara, I'm going to bring cornhole. You may have not played it yet, but it is a great game. You might, you might say, what the bean bags and these boards, what? I'm telling you, it's a great time. You're going to love it. I'm bringing the cornhole to the barbecue. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on BrockPage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on that website, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on BrockPage.com, you are going to get access to those picks all the way through the end of November. I do always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Sunday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at BrockPage.com.